Jake had just started his first semester at a college in Ohio. Like most freshmen, he was excited and nervous at the same time. His dorm building was called Hamilton Hall, one of the oldest buildings on campus. It was built sometime in the 1950s. The building had long wooden hallways, dim lights, and doors that creaked when they opened. Students often joked that the place looked more like an abandoned hospital than a dorm. But Jake didn't care. He was just happy to finally be living on campus. When he arrived, he learned something surprising. His assigned roommate hadn't checked in yet, which meant Jake had the whole dorm room to himself. At first, that sounded amazing. More space, more privacy, but he would soon wish someone else had been there. The first night was quiet. Jake unpacked his things, set up his laptop, and went to sleep around midnight. Nothing strange happened. But on the second night, something woke him up. Jake suddenly opened his eyes. His room was completely dark except for a faint orange glow coming from the hallway light. Under the door, he checked his phone. 3:12 a.m. He had no idea why he woke up, but something felt wrong, like someone else was in the room. Jake slowly sat up. Across the room was the small desk chair, and it was moving, very slowly, rocking back and forth. Jake stared at it for a moment. Then he laughed quietly to himself. Maybe I didn't push it in properly, he thought. He got up, pushed the chair under the desk, and went back to bed. The next night, it happened again. Jake woke up suddenly. He looked at his phone. 3:12 a.m. This time he immediately looked toward the desk. The chair was moving again, but this time it was facing his bed. Jake felt a chill run through his body. Still trying to stay calm, he got up and pushed the chair back again. He blamed the old uneven floor, but things got worse after that. Every night, Jake woke up at exactly 3:12 a.m. Sometimes he heard footsteps in the hallway. Sometimes he heard faint breathing in the room. And every night, the chair was slightly closer to his bed. One night, Jake decided to stay awake. He wanted to prove nothing strange was happening. He watched movies on his laptop until around 3 a.m. The room was completely silent. Then suddenly, at exactly 3:12 a.m., his laptop screen flickered and shut off. The room went dark. Jake froze. Then he heard it. Breathing. Slow, heavy breathing. Right beside his bed. Jake slowly turned his head toward the chair, and that's when he saw something. A dark shape sitting in the chair. A human shape. Just sitting there, not moving, not speaking, just staring at him. Jake couldn't see a face, only a shadow. His heart started pounding. He quickly reached for the lamp and turned it on. The chair was empty. Jake didn't sleep for the rest of the night. The next morning, he went to speak with the dorm manager. At first, the manager tried to laugh it off. But when Jake mentioned the time, 3:12 a.m., the manager's expression changed. He became quiet. Then he said something that made Jake feel even worse. Last year, a student in that room reported something similar. Jake asked what happened. The manager hesitated before answering. The student kept saying someone was watching him while he slept, and every night he woke up at the same time. Jake slowly asked, "What time?" The manager looked directly at him. 3:12 a.m. Jake moved out of that dorm room 2 days later. But months later, another student moved into that room, and the same report started again. The chair moving, breathing in the dark, and waking up every night. At exactly 3:12 a.m., Emma was known as one of the most dedicated students in her class. She studied psychology at a university in Illinois. Final exams were coming soon, and Emma planned to spend as much time studying as possible. The campus library was open 24 hours during exam week, but after midnight, most students left. Emma actually liked staying late. The quiet helped her focus. But one night, the silence became something else, something disturbing. It was around 12:30 a.m. when Emma heard the first whisper. It was extremely faint, so faint she thought she imagined it. She continued reading. Then she heard it again. This time it sounded like someone saying a word, very softly. "Emma?" She froze. Her name. Emma slowly looked around the library. There were only a few empty desks and rows of bookshelves. No one nearby. She tried to ignore it. But a few minutes later, the whisper came again. "Emma, come here." This time it sounded like it came from the history section. Emma stood up. Her heart was beating faster now. She slowly walked toward the bookshelves. The library felt colder than before, almost like someone had opened a door to the outside. As she walked between the shelves, she saw something strange. A book lying on the floor. Open. Emma bent down and picked it up. Inside the book was a photograph. A very old black and white photograph of a college student. Under the photo was a name. Emma Carter. Her name. Her exact name. Emma suddenly felt behind her ear. Then she heard the whisper again. Emma turned around instantly, but no one was there. She ran out of the library without looking back. The next day, she asked the librarian about the photograph. When the librarian saw the picture, she turned pale. Then she said something Emma would never forget. A student with that name disappeared here in 1987. Emma asked what happened to her. The librarian shook her head slowly. No one ever found her, but some students say they hear whispers late at night. And sometimes the whispers know their names. Ryan lived in a tall dorm building at a university in New York. The building had 12 floors and 2 elevators. Students used them every day. But one night, Ryan saw something that shouldn't have existed. It was around 1 a.m. when he returned to the dorm after hanging out with friends. The lobby was empty. As he walked toward the elevators, he noticed something strange. There were 3 elevator doors. Ryan stopped walking. He had lived in this building for months. There had always been only 2 elevators, but now there was a third one. The third door looked older, rusty metal, dim light above it. Ryan assumed it was a maintenance elevator. Out of curiosity, he pressed the button. The door opened. Inside the elevator, it felt unusually cold. Ryan stepped in. There were buttons labeled 1 through 13, but the building only had 12 floors. Ryan pressed 12. The elevator started moving, but suddenly the lights flickered. The elevator stopped. The display showed 13. The doors slowly opened. Ryan stepped out. The hallway looked exactly like his dorm floor, but something felt wrong. The walls were cracked. The lights were dim. Everything looked older, like the building had been abandoned for years. Then Ryan noticed a door with a name tag. His name, Ryan Mitchell, his exact room number, but the door looked burned and damaged. Ryan slowly opened it. Inside the room, someone was lying on the floor. Ryan stepped closer. Then he realized something horrifying. It was him, his own body. Suddenly, the lights in the hallway went out. Ryan ran back to the elevator. When he reached the lobby again, the third elevator door was gone. Only 2 elevators remained. The next morning, Ryan asked the security guard about it. The guard looked confused. Then he said something strange. This building used to have a third elevator, but it was sealed after a student died on a hidden 13th floor. Ryan never used the elevator again, but sometimes, late at night, students say they see a third elevator door appear in the lobby, waiting for someone to press the button.